What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 53. We are officially over 1 year old now. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by U.S. Laundry Company, aka Travis. Travis, what's good this evening?
I was reading this top secret CIA government UFO dossier they released today.
Oh yeah.
It's classic. First of all, they don't know anything.
No, of
To
course.
give you a synopsis, there was I forget how, I think it was the last 20 years or so. There's 120 something UFOs,
Mm-hmm.
and 18 of them they have no understanding of how a human of any kind could have made it happen. So
Great.
So what I read was there's about 100 where they're like, oh, we could see how a human or a department of defense or an army could have came up with that kind of movement or propulsion or whatever. There's 18 where they're like, fuck if we know. So which is the bigger question? Is it more scary if it's aliens or if it's just like the Chinese?
Yeah, you and I have talked about this before about which is scarier, and I mean the answer is I think it would be for me. I think it would be scarier if it was like China and they had this,
100%.
when they had this thing that it was so far beyond our comprehension. Like that's scary. Like if it's aliens, like there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's aliens.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah, they just intergalactically traveled over here. Listen, even if we know it's them, it does. If they've traveled 75 million light years in 2 seconds because they bent the space-time continuum, I mean, thanks, I'm glad we have M4s, but it doesn't matter. Like,
correct.
that's over. If it's the Chinese, it's like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess now we're all, Chinese citizens." There's
Correct.
nothing we can do about that.
We're all communists and we don't have access to the free internet anymore. So welcome.
Tough scene.
There really is. Well, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs here on the podcast, you and I get together each and every week to discuss all of the news and rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube, where you can find our episodes every Monday as well, and as well as game streams and clips that we occasionally post. Our YouTube channel is the DualSense Podcast. And also, if you want to chat with us or engage with us, you can find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. We would love to hear from you. And without further ado, Travis, talk to me about what you've been playing in the past week.
I played a little FIFA last night with Stevenage. I really need a lot more youth squad guys. I'd forgotten that when you play with an English team, you really need 2 squads. Because you play so many freaking games, and my guys aren't. When you have youth squad players, their stamina isn't high enough yet that you can play them like back to back. Really, I mean, you can, but they just suck ass. So there was a game. I remember who I was playing like Exeter City, and I had guys in their 3rd game in a week, and I was having the hardest time. Like I couldn't move the ball. Like they're all dead, and I was afraid to sprint because I was afraid they'd get hurt. And I don't have any backups yet. It was a disaster.
It is rough.
But I think I won that one, like 1-0. Like it was everything I could do, and I finally got a goal. But other than that, let's see here. We did a lot of chivalry. I got every class is level 7, so I've unlocked every single class within the class, whatever you want to call it.
Subclass?
There you go. That's a word. Well on my way to 1,000 arrows. I think I'm at like 350. My favorite weapon so far is the Executioner Axe.
Yeah, it dicks. It does.
Right behind that is probably the Sledgehammer.
Mm.
Both of them, you can just hammer people like heads will explode basically. And my favorite part with Executioner Axe is like if you get into a situation where you know you're about to die, you can just pull the Hail Mary of I'm gonna do a slash and I'm gonna spin in a circle.
Yes.
And you might get 3 or 4 before you die. You never know.
I've done that. Yes.
So it's great. I love that. It's a lot of fun. The swords aren't bad. I unlocked the great sword finally. I unlocked that on the Vanguard class, I think, or whichever one it is. It's not bad. It's good, but like I've been playing with the Executioner Axe so much, trying to get to level 10 to unlock this sword that like I have to rethink how to play because you don't have the reach, you don't have the weight, the hitting power. So I'm gonna have to change my play style up a little bit for that. But yeah, it's we played that a lot.
We did.
We played with USA Laundry Company a couple times.
Like very similar to John Cena's ball bag,
Yeah, so
like last week.
who knows what we'll get this week?
This is a good tradition that you're starting here.
Just a random dude we played with. And then we finished our first playthrough of Operation Tango, which we live streamed. We live streamed the last one.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You might hear my wife on it because she came down here to tell me something, and then she was watching us play and thought it was hilarious. She loved it because like she could see like there's a part on the live stream where we go to this panel and like it pops up with instructions and you have to do these instructions. We both do, but some of them I can do, some of them you can do, and vice versa.
Right.
And I can't see what yours say. So it'll say like, 1 of 15, and then it might jump to 4 of 15 because you got 3 in a row that you can do by yourself.
Yes.
So you say, press. Was it you or me? It said press circle.
I said press square.
Yeah.
To you. That was my instruction to tell you.
And I was saying I don't have a square on my panel.
I said, yeah, it's on your controller, asshole.
Fucking moron.
Oh, that was great. It's such a fun game.
Yeah, we had like 2 minutes and I was so frazzled because I was like, we had 15 seconds and I was like, there's not a square. What the fuck do you need me to do?
It really does get you frazzled. Like the simplest thing, like there's so much going on at times and you're like, I tell you the easy thing, which is press square, and you're like, square? There's no square. Like,
it's just too much.
Yeah. It's
if you said like, yeah, put the fan at level 18, I'm like, got it. That's easy. You know, it's it shows you like why those game shows are so difficult. And they can ask you like, what's the capital of the country? And you're like, dude, I don't know right now because there's a million people watching.
Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But anyway, that's about it.
Yeah. Well, my list is very similar. Like you said, we've been playing Chivalry 2. I don't have all the classes to level 7 like you do. I have 3 at level 8, and then I'm at level 6 on the Archer, so I'm close to having all the subclasses unlocked. I love that game so much. I can't tell you how much I love that game. And it really makes me happy that the game is getting like above 90s, 9s out of 10s, 10s out of 10s, 90. PC Gamer gave it a 91%. So that very much pleases me.
So one thing we've never talked about is the catapults, the trebuchets. It's fucking outrageous when you're on those levels with those things. Like it looks like a goddamn bomb from World War I.
It does. Guys go flying like 50 or 100 feet in the air, and it's a disaster. But I need to get kills with that for that trophy, but it's impossible almost to get on it because somebody's always on it. So I'll have to figure that out eventually. But also played Operation Tango, like you said. We finished our first playthrough, and so now we have to do the opposite basically to get the platinum, which I think we both want to get. So, and then almost the last thing I guess that I've been playing is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart still. I played a little bit this evening before we're recording here. I think I have 2 missions left. So I have maybe 2-3 hours left in the game to play. Probably not, maybe not even that much. So I'm almost done with it. Should definitely be done with it by this time next week. It's a really awesome game. It's very good. I would give it a 9 out of 10 right now. The only thing holding it back for me is glitches, believe it or not. I've had the game crash my PS5 and then had my save data corrupted at the same time. I've had things happen to me where I've like made jumps and then fell through the map, and then instead of reloading, it just black screened and crashed. So there's all these weird kind of things that seem to revolve around loading for whatever reason. So I have had a lot of glitches. Nothing game breaking. Luckily, the save data was backed up pretty recently when mine corrupted. But if you pull that, so that takes it down to a 9 for me. But if you take that out of it, the combat is phenomenal with all of the weapons and the variety of the weapons. And I just have shit going everywhere. Like when I get into a fight, I'm using like everything, which is awesome. And then the story is fun and funny at times, and the characters are endearing. I mean, the game's got a lot of heart. It's a neat little game. It's good.
I get the feeling that We could talk about this in depth after you beat it, but I get the feeling that you don't love it, love it. Like, you don't talk about it the way you talk about games that you love. Like, you don't talk
Yeah.
about it the way you talked about Returnal.
What I would say to that is it's like I said, it's a really good game, but like I don't think I'm a Ratchet guy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Mhm,
only the second Ratchet game that I've played, and it is an excellent game, but I don't know that I'll play the next one, assuming that they make another one. I mean, really, the main reason I'm playing this one is because it's a launch window game, and there's really not a whole lot else to play in terms of single player stuff. When me and you aren't playing things, so and then I felt like I needed to play it too because this was kind of like one of the true like next gen PS5 games, But
mhm,
I don't know if I'll play the next one. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it's different for me. Like I typically don't play games like this, like Ratchet or like that Knack game or Sly Cooper or whatever, like those types of games. Like what I would call like not
creature games.
yeah, like animated and like whatever cartoony type of games, whatever you want to call it, like younger games. But there is adult humor in the game. Like it is definitely a game for all ages, I would say. For instance, I was playing earlier and one of the characters made a joke about how somebody get out the lemonade, we're gonna get crazy tonight, or something like that. Like I don't know, I kind of chuckled a little bit. And then there's a character named Skid McMarks and stuff like that. So
Well, part of the reason you don't like it is because there's some humor in it and you don't wanna be happy.
no, I hate being happy and I hate laughing. So that really, that really, really grinds my gears. But anyway, and then really the last thing here that I just dabbled in a little bit this week is Rayman Origins again on the Vita. Just had a little bit of time this week, so I played that for a few minutes here and there. And it's a awesome platformer, and the art style is really cool. So anyway, that's pretty much it. So with that, let's get into the news here, and it's definitely not as busy or as big of a news week, I would say, Travis, as we've had.
Mhm,
It somewhat in a way seems a little bit like the calm before the storm,
mhm.
possibly a PlayStation showcase, but we'll see. So let's jump in here. Number one, Blue Box Game Studios and abandoned game director Hassan Karaman shared a 40-second video on Twitter this week to prove that he was a real person and not an actor hired by Hideo Kojima. And he also stated that he hopes to host a Q&A soon for fans. This came on the heels of the Trailers app being delayed from Tuesday to Friday due to localization issues. Karaman also gave an interview to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier this week, who, in his own words, came away with more questions than answers. Later in the week, the founder of Noir Studio, one of the outsourced studios working on Abandoned, allegedly, shared a video as well to prove that they are real people working on a real project. And finally, on Friday, the game director for Abandoned, Mr. Hassan Karaman, posted a video on the game's Twitter page announcing that the PS5 app had been delayed to August after running into unexpected bugs and localization issues. So, this is the latest in the
Mhm.
saga that we discussed last week. What do you think about this?
Well, just off the bat, I wanna say one of your better episode titles here.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, it's one of the top 10 for me. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
This thing is all over the place. I texted you guys earlier and told you that this was just a huge waste of my life.
Hmm.
That's more of an annoyance that it's gotten delayed until basically a month. Like, it just seems my head tells me these unexpected bugs are PlayStation telling them not to put it out yet for whatever reason.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking in my head, but I don't really have a good reason because Tuesday to Friday would imply there's bugs that we can tweak them, but 6 to 8 weeks out of a delay, it implies a much bigger issue, so I don't know what
Yeah.
changed from Tuesday to today. So that makes me think somebody maybe told them not to do it. That's what my gut says.
Hmm.
To the Jason Schreier interview, a lot of people said he was basically, kind of what's the word I wanna use? Softballing them, like,
Hmm.
he wasn't really pushing the issue very much. It wasn't a great interview. It was kinda, like, clickbaity in a way.
Hmm.
I get that. It's his job to do that, though, so I don't really know if we can critique him too much. At the end of the day, this comes back to Blue Box, and they kind of put themselves in this position. I thought maybe the scrutiny on Jason was a little bit unfair, but this is just it's still all over the place. Like the video that you show me that says you're a real person from either place, that doesn't mean anything. Anybody can do that. It could be a deep fake for all I know.
Yeah.
Uh, the Q&A, I'm not sure what that will do because they obviously don't want to tell us what it is. So even if they did a Q&A, they're not going to tell us what we want to know. And I know Noir, I've read that Noir has done stuff on games I've played. So like
Yeah.
that seems the most legitimate out of all of this.
Right.
It's a lot to me that Abandon just tweets out our game starts with an S and ends with an L, and then it jumps straight into we're in this huge rabbit hole and everything connects.
Yeah.
It seemed like for a second we could see the Matrix.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where we are anymore. I don't know where we are.
I have a few thoughts. I'm kind of like you. Like I feel a little bit fried with all of this because it's just been so much. But my first thought is that how do you delay this app for 3 days? Like you said, this, to your point, how do you delay it for 3 days and then you come back in that 3 days and you delay it for 2 months? How does that add up? And it really does. I mean, why did you think 3 days and then now it's 2 months? Okay.
Mhm.
So back to your point, like what's the real
Oh,
story? Did PlayStation say don't or whatever? But
they wouldn't let him crunch.
probably. So there's that, which is really odd to me. The other thoughts that I have are we have we have 2 videos now of Hassan, same guy. We have one of this guy from this French studio, Noir, who, like you said, has worked on like The Last of Us. They've worked on Death Stranding. You know, they've worked on
Mhm.
big games as like I think they work on art for these games is what they do. That's just their thing. So there is that. So these appear to be real people. Okay, so then that leads to my third thought is that, and Jason Schreier tweeted this earlier today. And are these real people? Is this Hassan guy a real guy who, by some outrageous set of coincidences, has taken advantage of that and turned that into, like I mentioned before, a marketing coup
Yeah.
and turned, a unknown indie PS5 exclusive horror game that had 3,000 followers on Twitter to now they have like over 33, in a week and a half, basically 2
Mhm.
weeks. Has he just playing us? Has he made a grave mistake in the way what all these moves and things that he's been tweeting and saying? Like, has he just been playing us and now he's in over his head? It's very
Mhm.
possible. It's very possible. Or or is this just more smoke and mirror, so to speak? And is there more to this? Either way, no matter what happens at this point, this is one of the most bizarre video game stories that I've ever seen.
Right, it is. There's
It's
nothing like it really. I
no,
mean, to this extent.
no, it's so bizarre. It's bizarre.
Mhm.
Like literally, it has captivated the video game world, especially the PlayStation world. And
Mhm.
it's just, it's been. I mean, it's still been fun to me. Like I'm not upset either way. Either way, but because I've enjoyed the ride, like I've been saying. But I'm telling you, man, either there's way more to this, or this is going to be even more of a disaster than it already has been for this guy and these
Mhm.
outsourced studios. But before we move on here, back to what we were talking about last week, and you and I were talking the other night on PlayStation, like how can all of these? I still can't reconcile how all of these things line up with this game. All these coincidences, like I just don't get it, man. Like the
Mhm.
Netherlands flag and the Death Stranding thing. You
He's in the
know,
box, he's wearing blue. Like, it's just like
yeah, the guy's initials are HK. His name translates to Hideo. They're always tweeting in the middle of the night in the Netherlands, but in the middle of the day in Japan. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, I mean, that's just this. That's like surface level. Like,
Right.
there's all this nuance to it, and how can every bit of that be coincidence? And then also, how can this dude who's barely ever been able to make anything in the first place, you know what I'm saying, come up with
Yeah.
all of this and then feed into this? Like, I just don't think that dude's that smart. I mean, no offense to Hassan Karam, but I just don't think he's that smart enough to have planned these things. And then I don't. I mean, maybe he's not planned, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, man. But it's nuts. I don't know where I stand now. I want to believe that it's just a regular dude who has gotten in over his head and everybody fell for it. I want to believe that. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make sense. All the things we talked about last week. Why did they get a PlayStation blog post? They've never made a game in their life. Like, how are they affording all these outsourced studios
Right.
who clearly work on big games? It's not like they're outsourcing to like indie
And with
studios. They're
yeah,
outsourcing to AAA studios on AAA games.
and like the money they have, as you talked about, like 7 studios with $150,000, that doesn't pay for them.
No, there's more. I don't know. I just feel like me personally, there's more to this, and I don't think we're done.
Yeah.
And some people are speculating now that they're going to release this app or demo or whatever on the same date that they released PT, the Silent Hill demo Kojima did in August of 2014.
Great. So we still have something else to hang on
So
to?
now there's that theory now. There's that.
Yeah.
And then people think it's also going to line up with like a PlayStation showcase event. And they're just going to reveal it then in August or something like that. But
Well, if this is all a coincidence and he's just leaning into this, then he's done a great job and he should probably work for somebody bigger than that studio.
yeah,
But to the point of it being a coincidence, there are a lot of coincidences. Like, isn't it amazing that the moon is the perfect size for a solar eclipse on Earth? Like, it's the perfect distance, the perfect size, the
fair.
perfect angle on the perfect plane. So,
Right.
like, in some sense, it's not any crazier than that.
True.
But but it just God, you're asking a lot for it just to be nothing there. I think.
Yeah, I agree. So two more things about this before we move on here. The first thing is that so the real wrench in all of this is that Jeff Grubb, the games beat writer, he swears he is 100% in that he has been told and he believes from sources that Hideo Kojima is in negotiations with Xbox to develop and make a game exclusively for them. And he says that it's in early production, pre-production. So if that's the case, could he possibly be making 2 games?
Yeah, why not?
One for PlayStation, one for Xbox, or is this not true, or is he like making I don't know. So there's that.
Maybe this game is only for Xbox.
It could maybe it's multi-platform, like it's going to come to. Well, no, it says PS5 exclusive. I don't know. So that's just a wrench. If that is true, and if people want to believe that this is Kojima behind Abandoned, then that's certainly a wrench in the whole theory.
Mhm.
And then the last thing that I wanted to say was on a normal news week, this would not be the number one story that we lead off with. And to your point about the title of the show, I'm calling this show Abandoned by Silent Sony. And it's because, for God's sake, we need Sony to save us and give us a showcase so that we're not latching on to the shit like this and, you know, making it hard on this poor bastard who might really just be one guy trying to make an indie game. You know, if there was other stuff to look forward to, we wouldn't even be talking about this possibly. So we need Sony to save us and quit being silent. I feel very abandoned by Sony. Number 2, speculation surfaced this week that Ghost of Tsushima may be heading to PC soon, as Sony updated the game's retail box art to remove the "only on PlayStation" tagline of the PS4 release. The same tagline was historically removed from both Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone before they were ported to PC as well. It's worth noting that Sony seems to have abandoned the "only on PlayStation" tagline altogether, as it does not appear on PS5 game box art either. Later in the week, a separate rumor also surfaced that a new standalone expansion for Ghost of Tsushima called Ghost of Akishima is in development. Website Push Square reported the rumors, which claimed that the expansion will take place on the islands of Iki, south of Tsushima, and is on track to launch later this year. So, what's your take on any of this here?
Well, it's definitely going to PC. That's not a question. It's following the same pattern like you talked about of Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone. Nice rhyme.
Yeah.
There was pictures or screenshots today on Twitter of Tsushima Island in the snow. I don't know if you saw those.
No, I did not.
They looked awesome. I mean, it seems like there's if Push Square is reporting this, I don't really know if we can call it a rumor. It seems like it's more of a what is there something that could be more than a rumor, but less than it's actually happening? Is there something in there in the middle there? Like, I feel like we're rolling down the hill at this thing pretty quickly because I know that they had talked about in the past, like, hey, we're doing the multiplayer thing and there'll be some DLC later. Well, this will be the later DLC. So all of that lines up and I'm for it. I wonder. I don't know if I didn't understand if the snow screenshots I saw were this new DLC or if it was in the game. I don't know. I didn't understand. I didn't really read a whole lot about it. I was just looking at the pictures.
Yeah. Well, the game's definitely coming to PC, in my opinion. I was of the belief that the next one would be Uncharted 4 based on the stuff that we talked about a few weeks ago, but I can definitely see Ghost of Tsushima coming there as well. But it does seem a little soon. It's only a year old, so I feel like the kind of playbook has been like a couple of years out before Sony's put things on PC. But you know, maybe they're going to accelerate that. So we'll see. But I think that's pretty much going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And then as far as the rumors on the expansion, I really have no idea. I could see them doing that, but I also feel like it doesn't need it because I mean they did the multiplayer thing, and I feel like you can kind of just let that ride off into the sunset.
Mhm.
Just let the game come to PC, get some new players, new eyes on it, and then just move on to Ghost of Tsushima 2. And I feel like by doing an expansion like this,
Mhm.
you take away a possibility for a sequel, like a location or whatever, a storyline or
Right.
setting for a sequel. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know why you would want to do this, but I guess we'll see. Number three, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Spider-Man Miles Morales developer Insomniac Games announced on Thursday that they are hiring for several positions related to a new multiplayer project, Travis. The job openings include a creative director, multiplayer systems designer, story lead, art director, and visual effects artist. Insomniac Games has anchored the launch of the PS5 with the excellent titles Miles Morales and Rift Apart, neither of which have multiplayer components, and are widely assumed to be in development on a proper Spider Man sequel in addition to this new project. Hmm. Thoughts?
So we're getting Spider-Man Rift Apart. I think it's a nice combo that we're gonna put together. Yeah. So the proper Spider-Man sequel, I think we've all assumed that was coming
Hmm.
from the jump that they kind of threw together. I'm putting that in air quotes. Miles Morales for the launch, but the new title I'm interested in the new multiplayer project. I'm curious, is it going to be an open world sandbox multiplayer? Is it going to be like a legitimate, awesome single player mode with a multiplayer that's kind of like Uncharted or Ghost of Tsushima, where like it's enjoyable but people don't really play it?
Hmm.
I kind of wonder where they're going with this because I don't think it's going to be. I think a lot of people when they think multiplayer now they think of Fortnite or Call of Duty. Multiplayer could be Ratchet and Clank like, but we're doing co-op or squads or something like that. There's different ways they could take it. So I guess it depends on the type or what the game actually is at a baseline. We don't really have enough to speculate too much other than they should get greenlit based off of Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man. They should get greenlit on a new project.
Yeah, there should be no question. They've really buoyed the PS5. Not to mention, I didn't mention it here, but they did a remastered version of the original Spider-Man for
Oh yeah.
PS5. So if you want to look at it and call it three games, you could. I am really hoping that this is a Resistance game.
I told you it was Splinter Cell earlier.
Yeah, you did. Uh, Resistance would bringing that back, rebooting that series, making it a multiplayer game. Even if it's single player with or a campaign with multiplayer, whatever, would be awesome.
I would like to play Resistance like in the Division model. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. But I really still want the trilogy remastered and put on PS5 as well, so I can play those. But who knows? This is exciting. I mean, these guys are on fire right now, so anything that they touches turns to gold at the moment. And having them doing something a little bit different from single player kind of comic book style, especially Spider Man, but then like we're talking about animated with Ratchet and Clank. So seeing them doing something like this is exciting. And then the other big thing I think that we need to point out with this is that I think, in my opinion, this could be confirmation of what we've been talking about on here several times, that I think all of the first party PlayStation studios are working on a minimum of 2 games and some are working on 3, because I think so all of these positions that they're hiring, they're starting from scratch. They're hiring a creative director to lead a new team on this game, and then a story lead, an art director. I mean, those are like top level positions on a team for a project for a game. So this isn't like I think, in my opinion, this is a totally new team. So I think they're going to have 3 teams. I think they're going to have the Spider-Man team, they're going to have the Ratchet team, and I think they're going to have this multiplayer game. They're going to have 3 games being made. And I think it's that way at Naughty Dog, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's that way at some of the other ones as well. But to me, this reads like there are 3 games in development or 3 teams at Insomniac. So I think that's where, instead of Sony going out and buying new studios, I think they're just going to, like they've said, they're going to grow their studios organically and just hire more people and make more teams, rent a new office building, whatever. Number 4, Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Jim Ryan shed some insight on PlayStation's stance on growing PlayStation studios. Here we go. Ryan told Axios, quote, "Nurturing creative talent is not as simple as throwing money at it. You also must give them the freedom to be creative, to take risks, and to come up with new ideas. We want first-party developers to use our hardware as their creative palette," end quote. Ryan also spoke in regards to PlayStation Studios releases, I should say, coming to PS5, and said, quote, "If games like Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart are examples of what developers can achieve in the first 6 months of the PS5, just imagine what we will see in year 2 or 3, end quote. What do you think?
One of the major problems with Jim Ryan that nobody really talks about is he has 2 first names, and it's really hard to trust somebody with 2 first names. It's just
Fair.
there's
Fair.
something about it. Like, are you a Jim or are you a Ryan? You have both of the personalities. I need you to pick one. On the first quote there about nurturing creative talent, that's right. That's 100% true. You want to, especially with creative people, they can be all over the place. Throwing money at creative people doesn't always do anything really for them. A lot of the creative people I know don't even pay attention to money, which is interesting. So yeah, so he's right there. The issue I take is the second quote here, and to bring a little rain cloud over this. Like, on one hand, yeah, the 3 games he mentioned are great. And yes, they did those in the first 6 months, but they're also the only 3 games. So to come out and say, "Well, imagine what it'll be in year 2 or 3," it's kinda like, "Well, we haven't heard shit about year 2 or 3, have we?
That's
You haven't
fair.
done a showcase, you haven't told us anything." There's all these rumors, you've pushed back Gran Turismo because you needed to make it a multi-generation game. We don't know what's going on with Thor, you know what I mean. We don't know what's going on with God of War. Isn't there a Thor Ragnarok? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, fuck off. So my point is like the whole the whole second quote there is just a bunch of smoke. He's blowing up everybody's ass, trying to make them say like, "Look how great we are, and there's going to be more to come." Well, is there? Because it's a fair question. It's a fair criticism of PlayStation, especially after what Microsoft showed us. It's a fair criticism to ask, where is it and
Yeah.
what is it? Because they're not telling us or doing anything. All we hear is, "Well, they're working on 25 games." Like, okay, like I can say things too out loud. Like, I
I
don't know. It's just I'm tired of these type of quotes. Like, I don't fucking care. That
Yeah.
means nothing to me. And the first quote, yeah, that's a philosophy, and that's nice, and that makes sense. But again,
Mhm.
even that, it's just a bunch of philosophical bullshit that doesn't really mean anything. So,
Yeah.
whatever, Jim. Stop talking and get it done.
I think that's well said. I don't think I could have said it any better myself. The only thing really I'll add is that what I was mentioning earlier, I think that they are not of the mind that they want to buy studios like Bethesda or whoever. Not saying that they won't, but I think they would much rather spend their 100 whatever million they said they were going to spend this year just hiring more people, buying more office space, and just adding teams at these studios they already have, which I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's actually a really good idea. Just have
I agree with that.
Yeah, just have two at minimum, maybe 3 teams at some of these studios, and just start cranking them out. Fuck it. Like, I think that's a great idea. Are you going to do better than Naughty Dog and Insomniac and Sony Santa Monica and
Sucker
Polyphony?
Punch.
Like, yeah, Sucker Punch and Polyphony. Like, probably not. So, then to your other point about the games, I totally agree. Like, think about this: we don't know now that Ratchet and Clank is out. We don't know what the next PS5 exclusive Sony first party game is. We don't know because
Right.
Horizon's coming to PS4, God of War's coming to PS4, Gran Turismo's coming to PS4. We don't know. They haven't said. And we don't know anything that's coming beyond 2022. We know God of War, we know Gran Turismo, possibly Horizon. But beyond that, we don't know anything. I don't know shit, to your point. So it's time, like you said. Number 5, Travis, new information on Battlefield 2042 emerged this week, courtesy of everyone's favorite Battlefield leaker, Tom Henderson. According to Mr. Henderson, the currently unannounced game mode that has been described as a love letter to Battlefield fans is called Battlefield Hub, and it is a sandbox experience where players can use weapons and vehicles from across past Battlefield titles on classic remastered maps running on the new game engine. The other unannounced element of the game is the rumored free-to-play portion, which Henderson says is called Hazard Zone. He also claims it is not a battle royale style mode, but rather is similar to PC game Escape from Tarkov, playable with up to 100 players or AI bots. We now await confirmation of these rumors at the EA Play Live event on July 22nd. Any thoughts?
Is Battlefield? I just realized this is Battlefield the title 2042. Is that an ode to 1942? I just never put that together until now.
I don't know. Isn't there a Battlefield called 2043? Or am I making that up? I think there is. Let me look this up. Is there a Battlefield 2043?
I don't know. I just remember 1942 because we were like out on that island.
Yeah, we were in the ocean blue.
Well, I think Battlefield Hub sounds pretty interesting. I know. Can you imagine playing like some of those Battlefield 1 maps, like we're out in the sand and the guy has like an Abrams or there's an attack helicopter or like there's a lot of weird stuff that could happen on these maps that I think will be a lot of fun to play around with. But is the hub, is it built out like this hazard zone where there's AI bots and players, or is it just players? That would be my next question about that.
Mm-hmm.
The hazard zone reminds me of what is it that we used to play on Call of Duty where we'd play with like the 4 of us and then we'd play all the bots,
Oh,
like Extraction or something like that. That's not what it was called.
like Spec Ops or whatever?
Yeah, it reminds me of Spec Ops. Like, if you can play it with a bunch of AI bots, to me, it's just Spec Ops.
Yeah.
It's not any different. If you're playing it with players and bots, then yeah, it is like Tarkov. And that could be interesting. A Battlefield version of playing the terrorist version of Rainbow Six, like that would be cool. But that's probably not what we're getting. But
Right.
anyway, I think the hub sounds interesting and novel. I'm not sure the kind of legs it will have on either of these. Really, I'm not sure the type of legs they'll have after launch.
So there's a Battlefield 1943 that came out in July of 2009. That's what I'm thinking of. There's also a Battlefield 2142 that came out in 2006. And then there was, like you said, a Battlefield 1942 was the original one. Came out in 2002. So we've gone, there are now iterations every 100 years apart, 1942, 2042, 2142. So I actually am kind of interested in both of these. They both sound really cool to me. Being able to go up against all the different tanks and everything, and I don't know, it sounds kind of fun if they can pull it off. I don't know how you implement. I mean, obviously, it seems like there's some natural advantage there. If you have an M16 and you're taking on a guy with a whatever a M1 Garand, seems pretty uneven, but maybe not. And then the other thing with the hazard zone, I don't know anything about Escape from Tarkov. I might have to look that up. Maybe it's kind of like, what's that game?
Enlisted.
No, maybe it's kind of like, remember that Vigor?
Verdun?
Vigor. Remember that free to play game called Vigor that we played?
Yeah, I remember that Vigor. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it might be similar to that, where you like are in some type of like contaminated area and you're trying to survive or whatever. I don't know. We'll see, but can't wait for July 22nd. Number 6, PlayStation released the most played PlayStation Now games between March 1st and June 1st. And on PS4 and PS5, the top downloaded PS Now games, or played games, I should say, were Marvel's Avengers, Horizon Zero Dawn, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, F1 2020, there you go, and WWE 2K19. On PC, the most played PlayStation Now games were Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Marvel's Avengers, and Detroit Become Human. Any thoughts?
It's pretty wild that Marvel's is number one.
I know.
I guess moving it to free to play or whatever you want to call it is a good model for that game. Maybe they should have tried that from the beginning. But I'd like to see if they're making any money off of these in-game purchases, or if it's just
Doubt.
it just is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Is WWE 2K19, is that the broken one?
Yeah, that was the one that caused them to cancel the next one.
So I wonder if people are just playing it to see what kind of shit goes on.
Maybe.
That would be amazing if it was. But anyway, yeah, I mean, F1, I feel like F1 always kind of spikes at this time of year because the new one's coming out in a month or two. So if you throw the older one on PS Now, if you throw the older version of these cyclical sport games, towards the end on PS Now, I feel like you get a lot of downloads. Probably if they did it to FIFA, it'd probably pop up there too. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's really about it that all pops out to me.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think the PC list is really more interesting than the console list. They really love those first party exclusive, first and second party exclusive games on PC there. Bloodborne, Horizon, The Last of Us, Detroit. So it's also this is also interesting that this is now a stat that Sony's going to give, kind of like the PlayStation Store most downloaded. I guess we're going to start getting PlayStation Now most downloaded.
Right.
This is how they're going to start pimping it now. Number 7, we also have several news nuggets here, Travis. Feel free to join me, as always. First nugget, in their latest shareholders meeting, Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida announced that the company plans to sell 22.6 million PS5 systems per year once supply goals have been met. This would put PS5 on pace to be Sony's best-selling home console ever. It's incredible.
Damn. 22 million is hard to imagine.
Really is. That's incredible. Games beat writer Jeff Grubb hinted this week that EA will reveal a new Dead Space game at its EA Play event on July 22nd. Eurogamer and Gamatsu both later corroborated the rumor.
I don't remember what Dead Space is.
Oh, it's scary as hell. It's where you're like a space engineer and you like cut aliens apart with like a laser, like limb from limb, and yeah, scary.
Oh, what you mean? Like they're on an autopsy table? Because I could deal with that.
No, like you're walking through a space station and they fall out of a vent.
Oh god, it's like fucking Alien.
Yeah, and then to slow them down, you have to like cut their legs off with this laser, and
yeah,
cool. It's awful.
What a cool game, guys.
People love it. But it's awful. I'm scared.
I could see the appeal of it, but no.
Yeah, it looks like
I don't want to be scared. I don't understand why that's a thing people want to experience. Like I don't want to be hungry either.
I'm scared. Next nugget, website Push Square reported that point-and-click adventure game The Procession to Calvary will launch sometime shortly after July 2nd.
Are we proceeding to the city of Calvary, or are we riding on horses?
We are.
That's Calgary. Fuck.
Oh, never change. Never change.
Go to number 4.
Next nugget, Sony Interactive Entertainment president Jim Ryan told Axios that the number of games that support crossplay on PlayStation will continue to grow after Sony has come under fire lately for its seeming abrasiveness for crossplay support. Madden NFL 22 will feature a rebuilt franchise mode with new features like staff management and skill trees, improved weekly strategies, and unique storylines based on your personal playthrough. In addition, EA now has a team dedicated to live updates for franchise mode.
Well, I like the team dedicated for live updates. I wish we could see that on 2K. That would be amazing. I feel like that the franchise guys are finally getting some attention here because, like every other sports game, nobody pays attention to career mode or franchise mode at all. So, a skill tree that we saw skill trees on NCAA Football 14. It's not unheard of. They just don't do it. They had all the features there. They just don't do it. I'm pretty sure on some of the older Maddens, they had something based off of like that. I mean, staff
Yeah,
management is fucking basic, guys. Like,
right.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, people were excited. Madden players were excited about this week, and this was the first thing that they showed off about Madden 22. So I guess that's a good sign. But like you said, these are some things that other franchises have had for a long time. But I guess it's hopeful. It makes me more hopeful, honestly, because I don't care about Madden, but it makes me more hopeful for the new NCAA football game in a couple of years.
Which could be maybe they'll tease all this out with Madden, so it'll be an easy kind of fit in. I assume that the new NCAA football will have the same engine like they used to do, where they copied, they took whatever engine Madden was on and they had the same stuff.
Right. Next nugget here, Travis. A new free update to April PlayStation Plus game Zombie Army 4 Dead War will add the original Left 4 Dead cast as playable characters in the game. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning can now be played at native 4K via backwards compatibility on the PS5, thanks to patch 1.08, which also fixed various glitches.
Have you seen Monty Python?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
It's
Well,
been a long time.
I pictured that because it's called Re-Reckoning. So I pictured these knights outside of a castle. They attack and get repelled, and then they announce that it's the Re-Reckoning. We're coming again.
Yeah.
we got a nice update. We're coming back.
That's good. PS4 received firmware update 8.52 this week, Travis, which, you guessed it, improves system performance. Luminous Productions, the developer of upcoming PS5 exclusive Forspoken, claimed this week that their goal is to, quote, achieve the highest quality visuals ever seen in an open world game, end quote.
We'll see.
Yeah. PlayStation Studio Media Molecule announced a collaboration with Mercedes-Benz to create a playable level in the creation game / engine.
I hate it.
I don't get it. Whatever. Get the fuck out of here. Sony is celebrating Pride Month with a number of PlayStation incentives, Travis, including a curated list of over 50 PS5 and PS4 games featuring LGBTQ plus characters, themes, and experiences. There is also a free PS4 Pride theme available for download right now.
What are the
Don't do it.
what are the LGBTQ experiences you can have? I'm curious. What does that mean?
I don't
Like,
know. I mean, that's
you get to meet some people.
there are games out there that are based on LGBTQ plus.
Well, this football player just came out as gay, so they can put Madden on there now.
Oh, who is that? Travis Kelce?
No, it was some guy that plays for the Raiders.
Oh,
and then the next day his jersey was the highest selling jersey in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah, so I think more of them should come out as gay.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny because he probably won't be on the team anymore. He's probably like the long snapper or something. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe he came out to try to keep his spot. But anyway, just let me know if you guys know what the experiences are. Let me know. Like, does Sony take you to a gay bar? Like, what happens? Just let me know.
Also, Travis, popular physics-based platformer Human Fall Flat, which looks like Gang Beast, by the way, it's always intrigued me, came natively to PS5 this week, and PS4 owners of the game can upgrade for free. Publisher Focus Home Interactive announced that the PS5 version of their cult hit RPG, Greedfall, will release on June 30th with a free PS4 to PS5 upgrade. The next-gen upgrade features native 4K and quicker load times, as well as a 60 frames per second performance mode. I'm really interested in checking this one out. I claimed it when it was a free PS Plus game a few months ago, and if you guys always claim your games, you should have this. It should get the free upgrade. A PS5 version of Kerbal Space Program, or Kerbal, I don't know how you say that, Space Program Enhanced Edition is currently in development and planned to release this year. PS4 owners will also get a free upgrade for this one as well. Pro Evolution Soccer 2022 will be announced on July 21st, according to publisher Konami, and an open beta test release on PS4 and PS5 on Thursday called New Football Game. What the hell are they doing?
I love
Why
it.
could they call it PES 2022 beta?
Why can't they new football game? It's like
God. Super game?
But then they'll name something like Euro Dreams of Sushi ×2 Apex Legends game.
My God.
You know what I mean?
No kidding. Yeah. I mean, no kidding. Like,
new football game. Okay, guys.
That's what it is, man. Also, unfinished Atari Jaguar full motion video game American Hero will release on consoles later this year.
What does that? What does any of that mean?
We do this every time, and I love this.
What is untrained, unfinished Atari?
You know,
What's
Atari Jaguar is a video game console, and they never.
What's a full motion video game?
We do this every time. Please tell me you're not serious.
Is that where you like run in place and spin around in circles?
Oh wow! No, this is the ones that have like the real actors in it. You know.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking like you had your VR on and you would run around in this thing like on that Gerard Butler movie.
Oh, this is so good. We do this every time.
This sounds fucking gay. I'll say that right now. Sorry, I can't say that anymore. This sounds fucking LGBTQ plus.
Well, it is Pride Month. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Whatever, guys.
I love that. We do that every time. What's a full motion video game?
Well, the three words in front of it just throw me off the scent.
You better
Unfinished.
You better ask me the next time what that means. Japanese RPG Neo: The World Ends With You received a free demo on PS4 today.
It's called New Game.
Also, website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Obsidian Entertainment veteran composer Justin Bell has joined PlayStation Studios as supervising sound designer.
Designer.
Tekken series director Katsuhiro Harada, God, I'm so good at this shit, revealed on his recent YouTube show that the new Tekken X Street Fighter project has been, I mean, what the fuck, has been shelved for now.
Hold on. You nailed Katsuhiro Harada, but struggled with X.
Oh, it's fair. When you start typing in English, I can't read it.
What the fuck is this letter?
Oh man. See, I erased X from my memory after all this UFO shit. Also, the Death Stranding director's cut has been rated by the ESRB and only for PS5, which means that a release is not very far off. A new leak from notable Warner Brothers Games insider James Sigfield indicates that a third-person open-world AAA Superman game is in development at Warner Brothers Games Montreal, who is also developing the upcoming Gotham Knights. It's interesting. I don't know if that I would play a Superman game, but like I played one back in the day on like N64.
Yeah, no, remember because it was like janky as hell.
It really was, yeah. Real janky, but I feel like that's true. I feel like that existed. Also, Sony has filed a patent for a new notification management system for the PS5's user interface, which would prioritize notifications in the context of the user's activity.
So what do you mean? So like if I'm playing a game, it's not going to tell me Netflix updated?
Right. Yeah, it's going to tell you that Travis started playing Chivalry 2, you know.
Yeah, so like if I'm watching Netflix, it's not going to tell me the game. It's not going to continually interrupt my show.
Yeah, that's the way I take it.
Okay.
Crossplay arrived on Overwatch this week, and players can now play together across PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and PC Master Race. Sony is adding 3 new PS4 tournament events to the open series of PlayStation tournaments for Tekken 7, Guilty Gear Strive, and Auto Chess. Website PlayStation Universe reported that Farming Simulator 22 will launch on PS4 and PS5 on November 22nd. FIFA 22 details leaked this week as well, including the game's logo and playable teams available in a beta version that is apparently forthcoming.
New football game.
Also a new football game. Naraka Blade Point, the multiplayer melee fighting game, is aiming to release on PlayStation by the end of this year, according to developer 24 Entertainment. And we received confirmation that PlayStation Studio Guerrilla Games is working on another project this week. A LinkedIn profile for Simon LaRoche, who is a game director on the unannounced title, reveals that he has been working on the project since 2018. So this must be the other game that we have assumed that they've been making for a long time, that we assume is a shooter because they hired the Rainbow Six Siege game director a couple years ago. So this must be that game as well. Haven Studios, the developer who recently signed a second-party partnership with PlayStation, have listed jobs for multiplayer and live service positions. So PlayStation's getting all kinds of multiplayer games in the future. And likewise, former PlayStation exclusive partner Quantic Dream, the developers of Heavy Rain, Travis's favorite, and Detroit Become Human have listed job postings pertaining to competitive multiplayer and microtransactions.
How would you do a competitive multiplayer with their history of games? That doesn't even make sense.
That is really left field for them. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing.
How would the microtrans none of that really goes, I don't care. Fine, we'll see.
They can't be making the same type of game is all I can guess. Can't be.
No. All right, Polyphony. Put your pants back on.
Website Gematsu reported that the Australian Classification Board has rated the Castlevania Advance Collection, suggesting that publisher Konami plans to release a collection of the Castlevania games that were originally released for Game Boy Advance, including Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. Japanese fighting game Melty Blood Type Lumina will launch on PS4 on September 30th.
That's a good name. I really like that one.
Melty Blood. Narrative adventure game Lost at Sea will launch on PS5 on July 15th.
I watched some stuff about Lost at Sea. It made my feet feel like they weren't connected to my legs.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. Like he was lost at sea, and I just felt like my feet weren't there. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. What do you mean?
That's
you never felt like that before?
I can't say that I have. That's
you ever felt like the bottom of your feet were like cloudy or like floaty?
You mean like I sat crisscross applesauce too long and I couldn't feel them anymore?
Oh, they don't really tingle. It's more like it's just not there. Like have you ever like you've been on a plane before and you're kind of like your feet kind of float up on a roller coaster?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Like that. Like I get that feeling on planes sometimes too. Like,
so it sounds like you need to play this game.
I don't know. I like feeling my feet.
You better be careful. You might lose feeling of your feet, but you might come on yourself.
How'd you know?
It's the only way you can. Only way you can is when you can't feel your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Side-scrolling adventure game Guild of Darksteel has been canceled on PS4.
Well, god damn it. Now I definitely can't come.
You're gonna need that Lost at Sea game. Oh, the PS5 version of Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 will release on August 24th for $39.99 after they figured out their technical problems, whatever they were. Also, sci-fi survival horror RPG, which we talk about every week at this point. Chernobyl Light will get a physical edition alongside its digital launch on PS4 later this year, I believe July 28th, if I remember correctly. Co-op third-person survival shooter Aliens Fireteam Elite will launch on PS4 and PS5 on August 24th for $39.99 as well. Everything's $39.99 on August 24th. And I want you guys to know that Travis refuses to play this game with me.
What?
This Aliens Fireteam game.
The video you sent me? Fuck that. Okay. It's just like what you explained about Dead Space. The guy was walking and there was 35 of them instead of one. And they were moving. They were organized in packs like the fucking raptors from Jurassic Park. And they were like, no.
Yeah, but we do it together. It'll be fine. I'll be right there with you.
We could also do cocaine together, and it's still not a good idea.
Fair.
For $40, I'll tell you what. If it gets down to 20, I'll think about it.
Okay.
You let me know when it's on sale.
Okay. Speaking of, Outriders is $38 right now. Just $8 more away from our price target.
Hey, people might like it if we played a scary game together and they could hear me get scared.
That's entertainment.
You enjoy it more than anything.
I mean, when you screamed in my ear that time playing Fallout, that was something else. I was like, I said, what's wrong? You said there's like a mosquito that came out of the ground. I'm like, my God, that's not even the worst of it.
You want to talk about not being able to feel my feet? That was one of them. Did you spell aliens right?
Yeah. How am I supposed to spell it?
There's no C, so I guess the I is before E, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, publisher Sega will release Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles on October 15th for PS4 and PS5.
That's a perfect example. They know how to name games. They don't need to call it new football game.
Jesus Christ. There are way too many syllables, and I just
Do you think in like Japanese it's just like one symbol and it makes a lot more sense?
Yeah, probably. Cotton Reboot, a remastered version of a shoot 'em up game, Cotton Fantastic Night Dreams, will release on PS4 on July 20th. This is getting out of control. Publisher Team 17 will bring action RPG Batora Lost Haven to PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2022. Multiplayer free roaming racing game Crash Drive 3 will launch on PS4 and PS5 on July 8th, and I think it's coming to mobile as well, so don't even waste your time on that. And finally, Gamatsu reported that NIS America announced that several Falcom developed RPGs will be making their way west on the PS4 sometime in 2023, including The Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie, The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Azure, and The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. Okay. And that is all for the news this week. And I'll now turn it over to Travis for a pretty meaty week of new game releases here. Travis, take it away.
On June 21st, we had Cyberpunk 2077.
I love that this is on here.
Making its return to the PlayStation Store with the disclaimer, do not buy, basically, if you're on PS4. So that's doing great. Great reviews for the guys at CD Projekt Red. On June 22nd, we have Alex Kidd and Miracle World DX. Bunny Parking. It's not Playboy Bunnies, but that would be a lot more fun. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. Farm for Your Life, which is about life in North Korea. Japanese rail sim Journey to Kyoto, which when you get there, you eat hibachi. So it's pretty interesting.
Uh-huh.
We also had Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, which has been done for over a year. On June 23rd, we have Empire of Angels, Sturmfront, The Mutant Warfare Rail on the Vita. On the 24th, we have B-Fence B-Master, Legend of Mana, Human Fall Flat, which again looks like Gang Beast is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 25th, we have Independence Day Break, Loop Index, Mighty Aphid. Aphid. Okay. Mighty Aphid. Open Country, Scarlet Nexus, which I feel like has already came out. Space Explorer VR, Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure.
Yeah. Let's see here. Bunny Parking. They really missed an opportunity there to call it Bunny Riding. And then love to see a PS Vita game on the list. Vita means life. Love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice German strum front there.
Yeah, it looks cool. Looks like a cool game. Looks like Galaga with guns, some sort of like, I don't know. Looks cool.
Yeah, I'm reading a book about how we demolished their strum front with shotguns in the First World War, and they're not happy about it.
I bet.
I also told you about that motherfucker that got beheaded.
Yeah, you did. It happens. The last thing here, Scarlet Nexus is the big one this week. It's a Japanese action RPG. I tried to play the demo for it. Awful. It's awful. It's getting good reviews, but my God, it's not for me.
Well, the Yakuza owns all those companies that gives the reviews. So.
And that's all for the new game releases this week, Travis. So let's begin to wrap the show up here by discussing what we're going to be playing in the week ahead, what we're looking forward to. What do you got?
Well, I'm ready to slice some more heads off, maybe hit a couple of guys with some ballistas, which is, oh my God, I got killed 3 times in a row with a ballista the other night, and I jump every single time, and then my body rolls about 150 meters.
It does.
So anyway, get into that. I don't know. I want to keep unlocking these different weapons and trying them out. Because like I said before, the double-sided sledgehammer was a revelation. Did not expect to like that as much as I did. I enjoy the shield fighting as well. Like the shield's a nice touch. It kind of, that game has a really good feel combat-wise. I'll probably throw in some FIFA. I just enjoy every now and then just turning my brain off and playing soccer and building the roster. It's kind of fun. And I guess we'll probably start on our second playthrough, Operation Tango, try to get that platinum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to read some more into this Ghost of Tsushima add-on DLC rumor. Maybe I can finally read about a rumor that won't make my head feel like it's on fire. That would be amazing.
Or like your feet are floating off the ground, disconnected from your body.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain, but you'll know when it happens.
Okay. I also am looking forward to hopefully starting our second playthrough of Operation Tango so we can get the platinum. And then I will be finished with Ratchet and Clank this week. I don't see how it couldn't be. And then once I'm done with that, my plan is to move on to Metro Exodus, which I'm very excited about. It got a PS5 upgrade recently. It plays natively on there. So I've got that downloaded, locked and loaded. And that's my next adventure after Ratchet. And that should get me through most of the summer at the pace that I get to play games. I would say I also have the DLC for it, so it should take me a good while. That's this week really what I'm looking forward to, and I'll probably mix in a little bit of Vita here and there as well. And that's about it. So Travis, let's get out of here. A little bit shorter this week, and that's okay too. If you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode right in your podcast feed every Monday. Also, you can subscribe on YouTube if you like, if you prefer to listen there and have the episodes there on Monday as well. You can find us at the DualSense Podcast on YouTube. And also, don't forget to reach out to us and talk with us on Twitter. Let us know if you listened to the episode, what you thought. You can find us at the DualSense Pod on there. And then also, more importantly, if you have a friend or a loved one who may enjoy a nice, quick, meaty PlayStation podcast like this each and every week, then by all means, please share us with them. We would be much obliged. We're going to get out of here. You guys take care. Stay safe. Have a good week. We'll talk at you next time. Bye-bye.